something they don't want to see. Escaped the ban last time and not again. Gragas, though, off the board.
Yeah, Gragas being taken away from Cali Trolls. They obviously really didn't like that pickup.
No.
Game 2, he went absolutely berserk, one-shotting Prolly in the last team fight.
And just able to displace people so that he could make the plays that he wants to. And when you've got clear calls like that, you separate someone out and you can easily get your team to do exactly what you want. Zig's not going to be seen this entire series. Alistair going to be taken away as well. They don't want Cali Trolls on the big cow as well.
Now the decision comes through. Do they ban Maokai or do they ban Nidalee? They've left both of them up. We've seen that Cali Trolls can play a fantastic Maokai.
Yeah.
I think they might let the Nidalee go through.
So, I mean, the Cali Trolls going to have to pick that one up. Or, man, there's just so many priority picks coming through here as well. Nidalee's going to be taken off the board. But now we've got Maokai, Tristana. Man, there's so many options here. Oriana's up as well. See what Team 8 really want to prioritize here because there's just so many picks that they want.
Yeah, I think they have to get rid of the Tristana. We saw, even though Slushy had trouble in lane, late game, he went absolutely berserk.
Yeah, not to mention the fact that they can give it to Maple Street as well, who is fine on these long-range AD carries. And it's going to be Maokai the pickup, and Tristana going to be put in the hands of either Slushy or Maple Street. Kez now finally going to switch up the jungle picks, and it's going to be Robert X. Lee picking up the Corki.
Yeah, so obviously going away from the Lucian is the first point, but the dual potential that came out of Maple Street on that champion just led him to not want to go up against it one more time. He needs to be dominant in that lane, and with Corki, I believe he can do that.
The Nunu.
We can talk about Nunu. Let's not talk about Malzahar yet, but Nunu would be a fantastic pickup, of course. Goes into a Sightstone, so we'll be able to give his team more vision control this time.
Yep.
And can just run around the map. Obviously augments Tristana so well into the late game, as does Nami.
Do you think we're going to have a Protect the Tristana comp potentially happening here?
Honestly, no. I don't think that Team 8 play that way. I think that they might throw these 3 champions at them, potentially a mid laner in Oriana if it does get through, but I don't think that Cali Trolls will play the Lulu top lane, which is one of the key components to that composition that you're speaking about.
Well, Westrice does, of course, play that Lulu top as well. Was one of his top 3 most played. So whether they decide to take that away from Team 8 or whether they, like you, understand that probably not going to be a playmaking champion that Cali Trolls will want to play, but probably now has the opportunity to pick up the Oriana away from Team 8. Although, I mean, they don't really mind, do they? Because Slushy didn't have that much of a great game on it last time.
Yeah, and last time, however, it had a great game, early game against the Tristana. Wasn't able to force it into the late game. And wow, Rise is being picked up. So
interesting.
Could be mid, could be top.
And it could also probably be a Corki mid too. If you think about it. Might be a possibility. Keen did it.
Potentially.
Oh, he also did mid Hecarim, so I guess who knows.
And Morgana once again coming through on the side of Babadub.
Oh my goodness. Even if it's hovered, still get those flashbacks. Oh dear.
So waiting for the last 2 champions to come through. Ooh, his Fizz.
Yeah, I think they're just sort of going through, like, look at how cool Cali Trolls is, guys. Yeah. Don't think it's going to be a Katarina, but of course Oriana is going to be locked in, so they're going to have a lot of shields. Katarina? What? What?
So yeah, never doubt the man again.
No, I'm not going to.
That's the first thing, and it looks like it will be.
I get it. It's going to be Oriana jungle, Katarina in the top lane, and Nunu mid, right?
I don't think so. So it will be Maple Street on the Tristana this time around. And now waiting for the potential mid or top pick coming out on the side of Complexity. Of course, Rise does have a little bit more success in that top lane. However, against a Katarina, you may want to just counterpick it with something that has hard CC and a fantastic early game.
Yeah, we'll see. And in fact, Westrice could pick up the Renekton here. We could put Prolly on Rise.
Yeah, I don't want to put too much pressure on him, but Garen is a good matchup in Katarina. So feel free to lock that in for me, Westrice, if you do want to.
Oh my goodness. Of course, the last time that we saw Katarina played in the top lane, that was probably Voyboy, I believe.
Yeah, and that's when... Ooh!
Oh my goodness.
Zed.
It's going to be the Zed
out.
picked up. But Prolly in the mid lane. So that is going to be a top lane rise into Katarina. So Rune Prison not going to be able to stop the Death Lotus. But we'll at least be able to walk away.
Yeah, and not that much hard CC on the side of Complexity to stop Katarina whatsoever. And of course, if Maple Street and Katarina start getting going, there's just resets all over the board.
Oh, that's true.
With the Blood Boil, they're going to be able to chase anyone down if a team fight swings in their favor.
Not to mention Dissonance and the passive coming out of Nami as well. Oh my goodness, this teammate lineup is so exciting. And I love watching Katarina, I'm not going to lie to you. She's one of my favorite champions. And she can snowball so effectively as well. I mean, you get a few early kills, and regardless of how much hard CC you've got, you're just going to die. And those resets on all of her abilities are just ridiculous.
Yeah, and they have quite a good level 6.
Yeah.
With the Orianna and the Katarina, of course, Nunu can add a lot of zone control with the ultimate as well. So a lot of AoE potential at level 6. However, the Zed late game with that split push is going to be so hard to stop. Like, you think about it, you got an Orianna, he's not going to stop a Zed 1v1.
No.
You got a Katarina. You've got the Tristana that late game may be able to do it, but the burst potential that comes out of Zed in that mid game, if they just throw him bottom lane, there's another split pusher for you right there. It doesn't necessarily have to be Westrice, and this could be the recipe once again for COL to get the victory.
Plus, they've got a Ryze as well, who is also fantastic in that late stage of the game. So I think if Complexity can get it to where they're comfortable, the super late portion of the game, it is where they might be able to make their mark on this one and possibly come back for that 3-2. But we are onto the Rift with Teammate on our blue side and Complexity on our red side. And, you know, blue considered to have a little bit of an advantage, so maybe Teammate are going to be able to utilize that one. But I'm very excited to see Cali Trolls picking up this Katarina and has decided to go with Boots 4-pot.
Yeah, so Boots start does allow a little bit of extra sustain. Of course, being that melee champion will get harassed quite heavily in lane. Will not be looking for a split push whatsoever. Split push, a lane swap whatsoever. And we see once again the guys just setting up along the river.
And when was the last time you think you saw a Ryze versus Katarina matchup? I'm trying to think back. I'm like thinking maybe Peke in the mid lane against Alex Itch Season 2?
Yeah, potentially. 30 seconds. I just haven't seen Katarina in such a long time. As Dodo gets hit by one.
Finding there's a nice phosphorus bomb as well. Of course, it does a lot of damage level 1. Getting a lot of auto attacks down here as well, but Dodo's going to be able to go back. He's going to be fine.
Yeah, gold advantage does go to Bubba though in that bottom lane.
Oh yeah.
Able to get all 3 of his stacks down.
Sweet auto attacks giving him that cash money.
And so many pings coming out at the earlier part of this game. They know exactly where Cali Trolls is. From that ward. Spot him walking around.
Oh, Cali Trolls gets a bouncing blade onto Prolly's head.
Swapping.
Yeah.
Throwing weapons.
Exactly.
The shurikens and the knives.
Shurikens.
What are they? Are they shurikens?
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 I think they're shurikens, yeah. I think shuriken works better though. Let's be honest. Let's have stupid.
Man, stop bagging my Australian accent. Come on.
Okay, Kez and Westrice. Westrice going to give a little bit of a hand. Kez here.
Okay, so Kez has done. This has been done a couple of times, but electing to start Q on Kha'Zix, he does take a little bit more damage, but you clear the buff slightly quicker. And of course, with that W max, you stay extremely healthy at the moment within the jungle. Porpoise Pops, he's going to be fine with that consume as well as Smite. He can fly around the jungle extremely quickly. And the lane swap has come through. So Katarina, of course, not going to be great in a lane swap. Of course, Corki one-on-one is going to do a lot of damage, and it looks like they're looking to invade the buff of Porpoise Pops. This might be a 3-buff start on the side of Complexity.
We'll see, of course, Consume plus Smite is the highest amount of burst damage you can do as a jungle at level 2.
The collapse is coming through from Cali Trolls, but
your own, I guess.
Ooh, Dodo's is hit.
Level 1. Ooh, Dark Binding not going to find Dodo this time. 4 members of Complexity all grouped up. Probably still in that mid lane.
And Maple Street is not going to be mad at this whatsoever. He's had all the time to get to his level 2. He's pushing the wave up. Westrice now has to teleport down to that bottom lane. So Porpoise Pops will get his second buff. Kelly Trolls leeching some of that experience just to get to level 2. We'll be able to pick up that Shumbo and be completely fine underneath turret now.
Yes, of course, Shumbo giving you a little bit of damage reduction as well to fly onto anything around that map. Katarina, very, very slippery. Dark Binding gonna hit a minion. Pops just gonna eat some stuff. Nice two-man.
So they're trying to break the freeze right now. That's why they've brought so many people into this lane. They don't want them to be able to control the minion wave in front of the turret. However, it still looks like they are going for it. This will take a lot of damage because of how much hard the caster minions do hit at this point in the game. And it was, I think, successfully dragged into the turret. So maybe freeze broken, might be quite close still to the turret. No, it looks like it. There's a couple of extra. No, it's in the turret now. Completely broken.
Hanging around the edge there. One of those caster creeps might be out of the way. So.
In fact, it might actually push back quite hard now. There was 5 caster creeps up there, so that will be a nice pushing lane on the side of Kelly Trolls to get some farm into his Katarina early.
Yep, Kez wanting to come through for a gank here onto Slushy. See whether Prolly can offer his assistance on that one. Does come in with the Shadow. Slushy immediately forced to flash, but are they going to be able to secure the kill? There's the flash from Prolly. First blood coming through. Ignite. Oh, there's the flash. Is the auto attack going to be there? The level up for the extra health, and Porpoise Pops forced to get the heck out of there. Prolly. Smooth moves on this Zed.
The damage potential out of that Zed early when they get into the execute range of his passive is so high. Couple that with a Kha'Zix early game. And I just don't think that Slushy expected that amount of burst damage to come out this early. He's picked up a tier in this, but there's already a brutalizer on the side of Prolly.
Yeah, that is very, very scary. And a tier, of course, not going to give you any extra statistics as far as saving you or doing any extra damage as well. So, same situation. Westrice trying to give a little bit back to Maple Street here, as Dodo does come in with an ebb and flow. Sort of like the water boy, isn't he, Dodo? Coming around here, had a Gatorade. Fine.
Keeping his team members topped up. And it looks like Prolly will continue to be pushed back in. This is why I love Zed's kit, though. It is so easy to farm on the turret.
You feel like a boss, don't you? Like, yeah, I can get all of this, but it's actually just really easy.
As a jungle player, I normally find that the hardest part of the game, because I don't have to do it very often. But Zed is quite easy. And we see... Now we've gone to 1v1s with Robert soaking majority of experience for his team, looking to zone out the Katarina. And there is roughly a 10 CS discrepancy between Katarina and Rise. However, nearly the same between Maple Street and Robert, just because of how that level 1 fancy business went around, level 2, sorry, around the blue buff on teammate's side.
Yeah, Porpoise Pops is here, looking for a potential gank. They know the Kez is there though, of course.
Yeah, and now he's level 6 to Slushy's level 5, so... potential here to go very aggressive, try and blow. Both summons are already down, so look for a kill. That's why Porpoise Pops is around still.
One thing that we haven't really mentioned is the fact that Ignite's been picked up here from Slushy, so not an exhaust to try and counteract this Zed.
Yeah, only Nami has an exhaust on this map, so they do have one for Zed. However, if Westrice gets big in these team fights, he could go absolutely nuts and require one as well. And it just looks so good. Equalizing CS now. If this does go to a split push, wow, is nice.
Walking into the Dark Binding. Ooh, Aqua Prison not going to matter because of that Dark Binding. I mean, that Black Shield. Bubba fantastic timing on that one as well.
Yeah, so the split push potential coming out of Zed now. If he can stay even but pick up some kills at around the level 9 to 11 mark, once he has picked up that Blade of the Ruined King, if that's what he's going for, will become quite intimidating to deal with. And Porpoise Pops doing what Nunus do best, running around, buffing up AD carries, looking to push out waves.
Yep, and going off like that. Probably going to pick up his blue buff, of course. Very useful on Zed to have a little bit of extra energy regen as well as that cooldown reduction.
Yeah, he is very energy hungry when you continually try to push out your wave, and the way Prolly would like to impact this map, get around and potentially even help out Robert in the top lane, although he looks like he needs no help whatsoever.
Yeah, Kelly Troll's just going to use that Shumpo onto his Trinket Ward. He's going to be A-OK. Of course, level advantage in favor of Robert X. Lee, and he's going to move back to a more passive style. But you know that as soon as that Valkyrie's up, he can just do the same thing again.
Okay, and for those wondering how Kelly Trolls is skilling his Katarina, he's got 3 points in his double, 1 point in every other one of his abilities. Yep. 1 point
leveling
in every
Sin
other.
is to steal first. even though he has to farm from range. That's interesting. Interesting. See whether it works. Probably throwing out a bit of an intimidation shadow.
Probably has the timer on this blue buff roughly because of how hard they did contest it. So just looking to force a wave into the turret whilst he's over there. Picks up a 3 back. Slushi, because of the damage potential out of Zed at this stage, has to walk all the way back around and he loses half that minion wave.
Yeah, and Complexity just out of nowhere almost have a 1,000 gold lead based on the fact that they've been farming relatively well. Picking up things around the map, of course, the ultimate being used out of Westrise here.
And he has his teleport back up, and because of the way the lanes are going, I assume he's going to walk back into the top lane. It's nearly 10 minutes, time for that first dragon we've been seeing so consistently.
Yep.
And have his teleport available, as does Kellytrolls.
Kellytrolls has a needlessly large rod as well. So
wow.
A lot of extra ability for that.
So he's definitely looking to impact this first team fight. As we see, Kez has picked up his evolution of his W. First off.
Yep, wanting to go for the poke and the slow. Of course, the first time today that we've seen Kez's Kha'Zix. Of course, Porpoise Pop's been playing it the last 3 games. Slushi able to pick up that farm. Always so satisfying seeing a Orianna farm a wave.
And quite even across the board, with the exception of the junglers. About a 15 CS in the favor of Kez.
Yeah, wow. It's just going to be used here onto Westrise, of course. Rune Prison not going to stop that one from coming through, and look at the amount of damage with that needlessly large rod on top of Westrice's face. Yeah,
and Westrise needs to wait for a level to come through here now. Of course, has a couple of potions, so he'll let them run. And actually calling the jungler onto the top side of the map. If they go for a gank here, the other team has a Nunu. Oh wow, as a binding lands. Nice little hop there from Maple Street. Of course, there is a wind up, so if you start that animation, it will continue even if you do get hit by the snare.
Unless you get hit by the snare after the animation, in which case he stops sort of mid-air and it's a bit sad. But nicely done by Maple Street. No, Kez just going to be doing his double golems.
Yeah, that's sorry. Kez, look, if there is an opening top lane because of how pushed up Katarina is, although that could lend itself, or as another
dark binding. Look at how much damage has come through here. There's a bubble. Not going to be doing too much. I think that was Maple Street actually using the Buster Shot in order to get Robert the heck out of there. So ultimate down, and Maple Street's very low. He's got to stop taking these dark bindings to the face.
It definitely would be beneficial if he stopped doing that.
All right. He probably understands that.
Yep. As we see, probably now putting a nice push in this mid lane, completely forcing Slushi out. Up in CS, but just having a little bit of a hard time against this assassin. And he's got that turret down very low. One more successful push, and this just puts the game in Complexity's hands. It means if Team 8 go for a dragon at any point with Nunu and they take Orianna there,
yep,
that's just one minion wave between trading objectives. That's exactly how Complexity's been playing this series. And then it can just get probably into his split push lane even easier.
Oh,
as
another dark binding.
Another one.
The heals come through as well. There's the Soul Shackles, actually. The exhaust being put onto Maple Street. The flashes on both stop the stuns. I mean, the T8's bottom lane are going to survive, but very dangerous.
That was all 4 summoner spells coming out of the bottom lane there. The exhaust, the heal, and both flashes. So great work, only for an ultimate. And Porpoise Pops is getting flanked here. He could be... He's not.
No. Not in trouble just yet. And of course, Bubba still has his flash up as well, so if there is going to be a dragon fight, that's going to be very, very useful, of course. Flash and then Soul Shackles is very, very strong. But bottom lane of T8 is going to go back. Of course, Complexity's bottom lane has gone back as well. Sheen Phage being picked up by Robert Exley on this Corki.
However, CS being mirrored in the bottom lane, even though there is some aggression. Only 5 CS behind at the moment, Maple Street. So doing a decent job farming on Tristana. He, of course, will scale much harder into the late game. However, the spike coming out of Corki, we've seen when he picks up that Triforce is just so hard to duel against him.
Yeah, it's pretty ridiculous. You have to wait, of course, until you've got that range advantage to try and put a minion wave in front of you so you don't get rocketed to the head. Very, very difficult to do. Of course, Kellytrolls now has a Fiendish Codex as well.
So only about 600 and so gold. Where he does have that death fire grasp.
Dodo taking so much damage there from just the Q.
Yeah, the double shuriken to the face.
But the itemization from Team 8 here just means that they want to blow one person up and get this party started. They want to be able to get all the resets out of their characters, be able to jump around, use the speed up from Porpoise Pops, as well as the ability to slow people with the ultimate with that snowball. So look for Cali Trolls to take the ball in onto the squishier back line, get a shockwave and a nice Death Lotus, and then just from there try and shred through the rest of the team.
It really is like a ticking time bomb on both sides as well. Of course, there's a lot of... Oh, Maple Street. A little bit late on the rocket jump, but is going to be A-OK. Perspective. Cali Trolls looking to just help out Slushy with this. Oh, Dodo's going down solo. There's the Soul Shackles. That's going to pick up the kill. Not sure what he was doing there, of course. Ooh, Dark Binding narrowly missing Maple Street. Probably now looking for a kill. Porpoise Pops in a lot of trouble. There's the Death Mark coming through. Immediately forces the flash, and there's the Shadow as well. Not going to do anything. Actually, in the end, of course, that's only a rank 1 Death Mark, but that's the message you wanted sent. They want to be able to take this dragon.
They need to pick this up quickly and get out through the bottom. They do. Looking to get around and also defend this mid turret, so great objective control coming out of Complexity off that pick in the bottom lane. Looks like Westrice is pushing top, but this turret might be falling.
Yep, 4v4 though. This one does go down. Dark Binding does land on a Porpoise Pops. There's the Death Lotus coming onto Bubba. Cali Troll's more than happy to bring out that cooldown whenever he can. It's exactly what you should do, because of course it doesn't have that much time before it's back up again.
Yeah, and once again, Complexity trading objectives.
Oh, the bubble from Dodo going for the 1v1 with Robert X Lee. Nice little 360. Like that a lot.
And the collapse potentially coming down, but that's been spotted out by a ward. So Westrice able to pick up the top turret. 3,000 gold advantage on the side of Complexity. And game looking nice objective-wise.
Yeah, sort of slowly Complexity are trying to get this game working in their favor. Of course, mid lane out of time.
Oh, nice footwork coming out of Proly in the mid lane.
Fancy moves.
Baiting out that ultimate, and now it looks like the wraparound from Westrice looking to get this turret down.
Didn't even use a summoner spell. It's just very, very well played. Of course, that Death Mark is going to be up very, very soon. Now has hit level 11, so he does have 2 points in that one. Bubba looking to make a move here. Does land a Dark Binding onto Dodo.
The teleport and Proly in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Proly's coming through. He really wants to get to Maple Street. There's the Death Mark. That's going to be dead. Not even going to wait for that proc to go off. Dodo now is the target. Proly's on him.
From behind, though, the resets could come in.
We'll see whether Katarina can make this one work. Oh my goodness, that Death Lotus only barely stopped. Forced to flash out of the way. Complexity. How did that even happen? Bubba Cali Troll's going to fall down. Westrice just throws a Q. If Bubba had died, that would have spelled death for the rest of his team.
Yeah, definitely the exhaust so clutch from Bubba, able to flash away. This will mean another turret falling on the side of Complexity, and 5-0 looking like they're getting off to the start they wanted.
Certainly, and with this late game scaling team comp as well that they have built for themselves with the Rise, of course, the Kazakhs and the Zed as well. And Kez wasn't even there in that bottom lane. He's going to take the outer mid turret.
Yeah, mid lane falls, bottom lane falls. That's all tier 1s down. Blade of the Ruined King built up on Proly now in that mid lane.
Although the bubble lands onto Westrice. Dodo trying to keep Westrice slowed here so Maple Street can get there, but look at how much damage comes through. The ultimate there, the exhaust onto Westrice as well. The flash forward, Maple Street wants this kill. He's so aggressive. Look at the slow from Tide Caller's Blessing.
The collapse coming down as well. This is a 3v3 now.
Yep, Bubba coming through, does try to land the abilities. Porpoise Pops has found Proly from the outside. Is this what they want though? Of course, Kez is around the back, but no, just managing to pick up Westrice. Robert X Lee continuing the split push in the top lane.
Now that he's finished that Trinity Force, the Sheen proc chunking out those turrets quite nicely.
Oh yeah.
As we okay, so this is the first time round, so nice setup from Bubba here to delay the back, to flash in as well as his Zed ultimate just destroys Maple Street. Nice tidal wave hits 3 people, and this is where the teleport starts, and you're like, this could spell disaster on the side of Complexity. However, the exhaust and flash away just shut down the rest of Kelly's damage.
He almost died by caster creeps as well. It's very, very close.
so close, able to clean up the fight, of course. Go on to lose Westrice a little bit later, but the exhaust is just so crucial on these Assassin champions.
That's exactly right, of course. Probably didn't get one. That's why he did so much damage earlier on in that fight. But
well, Prolly and Westrice were there.
Yeah.
And Westrice at the moment has picked up his roller as well as his sword boots. He's a happy chappy in that top lane. Looking to scale nicely into the late game.
Yeah, carrying on from his fantastic performance on Nidalee last game. Morale must be high in the complexity base. So far, definitely doing well. 5,000 gold the lead at this point. Fairly even on turrets, of course, only one up. It is about the 20-minute mark, so by no means is this over. But looking good for complexity at this stage. Probably feeling a bit sneaky, but standing on a ward.
There's a minute roughly on Dragon, so not much ward control by either side, actually. Looks like they will be answering Prolly with Maple Street at this point. And we saw how much damage happened last time. Calitroll's coming down to try and help out. However, spotted by a ward.
Yeah, there's nice warding on the map by complexity.
Lushi's starting to build a little bit of a CS comeback here. He's actually up by 10 now, which is a little bit of a turnaround from what was happening in lane. Of course,
definitely
hard to deny this Orianna farm, particularly when they group. However, contesting this blue buff, and blue buff wants nothing to do with Porpoise Pops. He's like, I'm out, man.
I'm done here. This dude with rockets shot me in the head before and I was upset about it. Slushie does manage to pick it up though, so that's very, very good. And Prolly continuing the split push. Maple Street now, of course, does have Buster Shot and Rocket Jump. Doesn't take too much damage from just one of those shurikens.
Sending 2 people into the bottom lane to deal with this split push, however, means that there are 3 strong in the mid if they want it. And 10 seconds on this Dragon. Teleport will be available for Westrice first, but just...
Dark Binding just misses onto Porpoise Pops. Command Protect is going to stop Kez and Bubba from doing some work. But 2 seconds down Dragon, as you mentioned. And we do have Complexity with a fantastic position around it.
Yeah, so looking to start this one up straight away, of course. Isolated damage coming out of Kha'Zix will be able to chunk it quite quickly. Calitroll's rotating down, however. Westrice looking to continue split pushing in the top lane. Teleport is available.
Yep, so Ryze can get into this one, of course. He doesn't do all that much damage to turrets, but he's going to do the best he possibly can. That lightning. Doing what it can, and now the face-off to come through. Calitroll's actually heading back towards the mid lane. Does have teleport available in a couple of seconds. Everyone trying to sweep. But they're on the clock, T8, because Westrice, he's here. Although Calitroll's also in the mid lane.
Yeah, so looking to trade 2 turrets for 1, potentially. As we see, Prolly's also in this bottom turret as well. Okay, so Zhonya Hourglass is finished for Slushie, so not a great target to ult. However, Bubba also in this lane now.
Team's turret has been destroyed.
Westrice does manage to take the first turret.
He's a little bit, maybe wants to recall before he comes in.
Yep, Calitroll's as well now. Trying to come down from the back
And there's
side.
a nice ward near Wraith Camp. It was just pinged out, so if he's looking for a flank, that will be the one he goes to. He has his home guards.
Oh, Dragon's been started up again. Kez at about half health. Porpoise Pops also at about half health. A little bit more tankiness on this Nunu. But everything definitely hanging on a knife edge at this stage. In fact, Calitroll's opted to go back here, so he's going to be in the top lane.
Yeah, he's got his arm guard picked up now, as well as a pink ward. And it looks like Complexity will be able to bully their way into a Dragon here, bringing up Prolly, and they've started it in earnest this time. It's getting chunked down super quickly. That'll be a Dragon, and wow, the gold lead continues to grow. 7,000 now for Complexity.
Fantastic patient play from Complexity. They managed to get the Dragon and the inner turret in the top lane. Keeping control. Of course, they didn't even lose that inner mid lane turret. So, see whether T8 can answer back, because they've been sitting on their hands just a little bit.
It's like the curse off this
yeah.
game. Like 0-8 on Corky versus the 3-game-in-a-row winning streak in the playoffs. Like, one of them has to end.
Something has to end. There has to be.
Well, technically it does it. It could go forever. War of attrition from Complexity.
Something like that. We'll see. Only 23 minutes into it so far. Another potential 50 minutes in this game. I'd say. I reckon 50 minutes, 83 minutes. That sounds like a complexity game to me.
Probably once again going to pick up his blue buff. Wouldn't be surprised if he headed back to that bottom lane.
But Calitroll's going to try and clear that one out as best he can. Bouncing Blade, and of course Sinister Steel going to do a fair bit of work clearing that one up. Sweeper has to be used by Dodo.
And with the teleport still up, they are electing to keep Westeros in the top lane, just pushing that one out nicely, and they've got good control over the Baron area. They're going to be able to sweep this one out again. So the Assassin's in the bottom lane. Maple happy to farm up the top lane. He's got his 2-item power spike. He's got that static shiv on top of his Infinity Edge. Build out a Slushy as well.
Yep.
He's picked up
coming along. Definitely coming along.
Cooldown reduction. That tier is stacking along nicely. That can't be far away from being finished.
That's true. And do you think that Maple Street probably needs to purchase a QSS at some point fairly soon, just because probably is going to be a problem? August Pop's actually getting caught up by a Dark Binding here. Man, it just looks like it lasts forever. Nice attack dissonance combo. Land on top of Robert just to deter him from staying any longer. Prolly still in this bottom lane, not wanting to actually press onto that inner turret, just wanting to continue his lead. Calitrolls now was trying to do the red buff, sorry. Decides not to.
And once again, they use this opportunity to grab control of the Baron area. Kez does that extremely quickly.
They've got their teleport with them as well, so probably not necessarily opting to go for the Baron. It has been pinged out by Complexity.
The blue buff being started up. There is a ward there, so Complexity knows this is going down.
Still very,
and now
blind.
teammate know that they're not doing Baron. So at this point, both teams, rough idea where they are, but no actual vision on Complexity. And Prolly's been missing for a long time. Now he's not missing. Thanks, Prolly.
Finds his way back down into this bottom lane. Of course, half health. Oh, Slushy's been caught out here. There's the tidal wave. Zonya's hourglass has been popped, but it's not going to quite be enough. There's the flash. Is he going to die? Oh, yes, he does. Eventually. I think that might have been even a Lizard Elder.
I'm having flashbacks of the other game. Slushy once again nearly living on a slither. Sliver? Speech is evading me at the moment, and it looks like they are rotating down into this bottom lane, looking to pick up Calitroll.
There's the death mark onto Calitrolls there as well. Forced to use that flash. There's the ignite as well. Prolly straight back out of there. Death mark shadow. This turret's going to go down, but maybe they'll just pick up kills instead. There's a nice Aqua Prison onto Bubba Dubs, and the Ice Blast as well. Wow, that crit plus the Ice Blast is going to be doing a lot of work. Complexity, though, they do pick up the Katarina and a turret.
So nearly a 10,000 gold advantage at 26 minutes into the game. Definitely the most convincing so far on the side of Complexity. Enjoying the split pushes, it must be said. And
oh yeah.
Now it is all on Maple Street. This guy really needs to get going. Farm needs to be channeled into him, and he needs to become this scary late game Tristana. Slushy and Cali just not having the best games, although Slushy farming quite nicely still.
Yeah, and Calitroll's actually in the top lane was down by a lot, and has now managed to pick his way back up. Of course, had that little bit of extra time with that split push in the bottom lane, which has helped out against Westeros, who was hanging around with his team.
But as the game progresses, it just becomes so much harder to one-shot someone. They're about to pick up the Bloodthirster onto Robert. He'll have that shield at the start of the fight, so unless they coordinate their abilities extremely well, there's just a possibility that the exhaust goes off on Calitrolls, and they just blow him up every time he jumps in. Of course, going towards that Zonya's Hourglass will help that situation.
Yeah, but it means that T8 really needs to kill someone while he's in Zonya's stasis. Otherwise, won't be able to get out. He'll just die anyway. But it is a possibility. We'll see whether it does end up happening. Of course, almost 10,000 gold is the lead for Complexity at this stage. About exactly 9,000. Now, currently, Kez and Prolly have very similar item builds, which is a bit exciting. Always fun. Last Whisper going to be the next one to be picked up by Prolly. We will see. More of Mount Mortius might be picked up by Kez. Of course, that's a fantastic item on that Kha'Zix, but I can imagine probably wants to go for that last Whisper. Bob's going to throw out that Ice Blast there onto Kez. Dark Binding not going to land either. Teammates still happy to stay together. They want to get these fights.
But the whole while, Proly in top lane, relentlessly split pushing with his build. They're pinging 2 people towards him, and Dragon is spawning in 10 seconds. They need to have a decisive move here, teammate. Of course, the teleport still is up. Spooky Ghost once again.
Oh yeah. Love that item.
Coming out of Bubba.
Used to be his favorite build path. Then Spooky Ghost. And Complexity now. They have the option of just going for this Dragon. Dark Binding is going to land as well. Bubba just so good at Morgana, always landing these skill shots when they matter. Dragon has been started. We'll see whether teammate really want to try and contest this one. Porpoise Pops, of course, with oh my goodness, that big one was huge.
Everyone.
Yep, teammate have to.
And probably rotating around to this mid turret. They look to collapse on him, and this will open up the Dragon.
Yeah, but teammate, they're back again. Everyone sort of cycling through here. Bit of cat and mouse. Another fantastic rocket barrage. Oh, there's a death mark actually onto Calitrolls. We'll see whether Proly can make this one work. Oh, there it is, the death mark.
They might pick up Dragon as well as the inhibitor here. Fantastic play coming out of Proly. 4-0-2 now, and that Zhonya's Hourglass just not finished. 12,000 gold lead at 30 minutes. I think we're going to a game 5.
I think we're going to a game 5 as well. And Complexity just so good at forcing Team 8 into a lose-lose situation. They bait around the Dragon, and if they let them do that, then they'll get a Dragon. It's fine. Even if they collapse onto Proly and successfully kill him, you take a Dragon over that, so it doesn't even matter. But they get the Dragon and the inhibitor turret. It's just everything is coming up Complexity in this particular game. Of course, 12,000 gold, now the lead.
And an exposed inhibitor in the top lane, meaning if they once again send Proly to the bottom lane, or even Westrice with his teleport, the whole team can just sit top and wait for 2 people to go to them. Westrice is just as big as Proly in this game on Rise, looking extremely good. And Baron looks to be one of the next objectives, all 5 members of Complexity in the top half of their jungle.
Yeah, teammate are poised to try and do some sort of a catch. Not sure whether these 2 members are really going to be able to do it if it's the whole team of Complexity, but it's of no matter. Because, of course, Westrice is in the bottom lane and Kaz is in the top lane.
Ooh.
Oh, there's the Empire play. Robert Exley takes a lot of damage. The Tidal Wave not going to do anything, but there's a death mark on a Maple Street. Proly does so much damage. The exhaust, though, he trades 1 for 1. That's going to be Nami picking up a kill. There's the Death Lotus immediately flashed out of Calitrolls. Oh my gosh, Westrice does so much work. Amazing command protection solution to save his life. And Team 8 actually coming out ahead.
Yeah, 2 for 1, although Calitrolls lucky to live through that. Westrice flashed in with these, came in with his whole combo. Had to flash out.
That was immediately double flashes.
Definitely was. So looking to push their advantage now. Hoping to pick up the mid lane turret, which they will. So getting an objective back, still life within this Team 8 lineup, and a good team fight going in their favor.
This is ridiculous. 30 minutes into the game, they've got an 11,000 gold lead. Team 8 still find a way to win a fight. That's insane. You should think that like the amount of money that's sitting on Complexity alone is just enough. But Giant's Belt now being completed by Proly. So he's going to be a lot tankier when he does come into this. And that exhaust from Dodo was fantastic. As we have,
so we see again the Nunu play coming out here, and as soon as you start slowing down, you're like, I'm in trouble. Robert tries to jump out, goes down anyway. Maple Street does get picked up here by Proly, who tries to use some fancy footwork. Although this is the play right here. A little bit late on the exhaust, and both flashes have to come out. And look at this bounce come through, all the AoE. That is so close. But not able to be picked up. A nice command protect coming out. And wow, these teams are butting heads now. They want control over this Baron area. They don't want that to happen again.
They certainly don't. And I think that after that team fight, Team 8 know that there is some potential for them to really do some work here. And now that the Zhonya's is completed by Calitrolls, probably feels like he can potentially get in, but you can see 2 solo laners from Complexity still wanting to do some split pushing. Dark Binding, of course, always landing when Bubba throws them out. Calitrolls going to get slowed up by that one.
And 3 pink wards being cleared simultaneously on the side of Team 8, getting rid of all of Complexity's vision around that area.
Yeah, Calitrolls actually blew his teleport to get to that fight as well as Westrice, so no teleports are going to be available for the next little while. So that does change what's going on here, of course. With a couple of Zhonya's Hourglasses, it does render Zed a little bit less effective. But Maple Street doesn't have a QSS yet. Is going for that Blade of the Ruin King third item. But Mikhail's is there, of course.
So now electing to send Westerice to the bottom lane as that split pusher. Once again, Complexity looking to gain control over the Baron area.
And Maple Street making his way up as well. Does have that Blade of the Ruin King.
That started it off without Westerice here. However, Cali Trolls is in the bottom lane. No teleport. This is going down so fast.
It's ridiculous. It's going down so quickly. That's going to be taken. Kez secures that one. Scrying or depressingly late. Watches Complexity wander away with a free Baron. And they just have so much control. Their objective play this game has been extraordinary.
Yeah, their vision control particularly has gotten better as the series went on. Last game it was good. This game they swept out all the wards. Once again, were just able to tear through that Baron. And 13,000 gold. If we take a look at the item, Oriana is in a nice place. If she picks up a Void Staff next item, she's actually going to be putting out a lot of damage. Cali Trolls looks to be moving towards one himself to try and get those resets going. So in the ideal team fight, Teammate can definitely pump out a lot of AoE damage. However, you look at the single...
Probably having a giggle. You look at
the single,
having a laugh.
The single item damage that comes out with a Rise, with of course a Zed. They're just going to one target, isolate them, and either force the Zhonya's straight away or blow them up if it doesn't get off in time.
Yeah, it's very scary. Very volatile, especially considering the fact that there's so much burst coming out of Complexity. Now they just can dictate the entire pace. Of course, they could be going to the top lane here, which is why, of course, Broly is split pushing up there. There's a free inhibitor, and I think the teammate knows that there's no way that any of them can 1v1 Broly.
Yeah, it's definitely to the point of the game where he is the biggest threat on the side of Team Complexity in a 1v1 situation, although now they look to group up as a team and force down this inhibitor by brute forcing it.
They will not
See whether it does work. Of course, there is still that wombo combo potential coming out of Team 8. This could be make or break at this stage.
Yeah, they need to start poking this down with the missiles, with the Void Spikes. And they've sent Broly back mid lane to the mid turret, deeming that that will be an easier objective for him to pick up.
Broly not a fan of his teammates, just to make sure that he's never in the same lane as them.
Once again, they've sent two people to try and deal with him. And wow, he just does so much damage. That's just two abilities.
Yeah, it's 3.5 items with Broly. 3.5 items Zed, actually. Just doing ridiculous amounts of work. 5-1 and 2 now. Gigantic amount of farm. Of course, Lucy with the same farm, just not quite the amount of kills Broly has at this stage. You can see the minions now pressing up into this base, and the slow push in the bottom lane as well. So those creeps are eventually going to get to that bottom lane turret. Seems to me like Complexity have Team 8 on a bit of a timer at this stage.
Ooh, Broly has been hit. They could go in on him here.
Yep. Oh, there's a death mark. We'll see whether Broly can survive this one. It was a ninth Death Lotus. Cali Trolls not going to take too much damage from that, but it was more of a defensive ultimate there, and that's going to be a very high priority ability down on the side of Complexity. Nicely played by Team 8.
And that means that they'll ride out the end of this Baron buff, only give up one more dragon for it, so... Turret and a dragon. Yep. Not horrible on the side of Team 8, although 15,000 gold, they need to put the stall on something fierce. And Magi is picked up by Cali.
Interesting item choice.
He knows if he's going to win this game, it's going to be through a lot of kills.
Yep. Yeah. Okay. We'll see whether that works out. Sinister still actually managing to pick up a lot of creeps right there, so that was very good. Picking it up to even farm with Westerice. So man, he's just banking on the most gigantic Death Lotus known to man, I believe. But I still believe it can happen. We've seen them with their coordinated team fights, how incredible Team 8 are. And Maple Street manages to find an outer turret.
Yeah, and Maple Street now with 3 items, of course, picking up that Blade of the Ruin King, is getting to the point where he will be pumping out a lot of damage. However, with the lack of health, maybe not an ideal pickup there. Doesn't augment itself to any critical strike at all. And of course, now picking up a QSS for himself. So he's got the Mikhails, he's got the QSS, probably has his GA, however. So
the extra heal as well is a good reason why Blade of the Ruined King can be used. Slow down probably on his approach, maybe. Trying to work that out.
Tristana has enough self-heal with a rocket jump as well as a buster shot to be able to get out of many sticky situations. I don't think a speed up is going to help her in that regard.
Yeah,
I just think the shield from Bloodthirster would be better in this situation. However, he is a professional. I am not. So I will trust him on it.
That is true.
Ooh, as they go into Dodo.
Okay, now Cali Trolls. Might be a chance, buddy. Might be a chance to get some stacks. No, that's not this time. Alright. Oscar and the Cookie Monster managed to find their way back to the base. Ooh, Pops. Not sure whether it was worth it.
That bubble was so close coming out of Dodo there.
Nice Valkyrie out of the way by Robert Exley.
And once again, we see the Assassins facing off against each other in this bottom lane. Probably not where Calitrol would like to be. He wants to be near his team, although there are some wards that he can teleport to look for that flank that he's pulled off so successfully in these games so far.
Except the fact that Prolly could probably kill him before he's left using that teleport, which would be very, very frightening. But they managed to clear these out. Look at that. There's the Deathload is coming through. Deathmark has come down. Oh my goodness! What?
Not elected to use the Zhonya's there. I think the last Q took him by surprise and he was managed to be taken down. And now with Slushy in the bottom lane, this could be the first inhibitor of the game for Complexity.
Yep, and oh, that Spooky Ghost got very confused. There's the flash into the Rune Prison as well. Dodo getting taken down solo. And first inhibitor does go down. Slushy now trying to take care of Prolly, whose Deathmark is half off cooldown. But as you can see, this inhibitor... Oh, there's Shockwave, but it's only going to land onto one. Black Shield is going to be used. Tidal Wave comes through, doesn't hit anyone. Teammate really on the back foot at this stage. And Complexity just looks like they've turned everything around.
Yeah, 10 seconds till Baron, so once again, typical Complexity fashion. We've seen this so many games in a row now, retreating into that area, setting up their wards, ensuring if they do face check into it, they will get a pick. Otherwise, this is going to be another uncontested Baron.
Yep, and an even larger lead. There's the Scrying Orb going to be coming through, but they don't even care at this stage. It's going to be taken down. I think that Complexity going to have a fair bit of money in their back pockets as well. 4 of 4 Dragons, 2 of 2 Barons. That is just complete control of this map.
Going to be able to pick themselves up a blue buff as well. They have a 17,000 gold advantage at this stage. And wow, they're looking to pick on Cali once again.
Yeah, Cali still has that Magi's, so still believes in the carry potential. But not going so well.
Wow, 3,000 gold.
Wow.
Sitting on Prolly at the moment. Actually, across the board, there is a lot of gold in the back pocket of Complexity.
That's a 5,000 gold lead for Prolly there in the mid lane, in comparison to his lane opponent. So that's yep, that's pretty good.
5,000 in the jungle as well, which shows how many neutral objectives they've controlled. Because he's got 100 CS advantage as well. Ignore what I just said.
120, not bad. Kazak's definitely been able to clear out. Oh, collecting up his cute little Spooky Ghost is Bubba.
Okay, so we'll use a bottom lane as a better example. So that's a 2,000 gold lead, which means the amount of neutral objectives picked up on the side of Complexity has given the support player Bubba roughly 2,000 gold more than Dodo at this point. Just showing how good their control of objectives around the map has been this game. Of course, 7 turrets to 4, being able to pick up a couple of Barons, the
4
Dragons.
Very, very strong. But they still have to close out the game, and of course Tristana, never going to be bad in the late game. Cali Trolls. He manages to get 20. Oh, Pops gave it a little pat.
He wanted to run into it to get the cooldown. However, wasn't able to because it had spotted him and then just didn't run into him.
He was frightened. That's okay. He's only a little ghosty. It's fine.
We see things going down everywhere on the side of Complexity. Looks like Prolly wants the mid lane to himself, sending his team bottom lane once again. Confident in his 1v1 ability. I would agree with that.
I would definitely agree with that as well.
He's now finished his complete item build. That's rounded off by a Black Cleaver and a Maw of Malmortia. So he sold his Ghostblade for a Black Cleaver.
That's interesting.
I like it. Late game, the stacks just mean so much more than the movement speed.
Definitely. Do have a lot of poke coming down onto teammate. The slow, there's void spikes doing so much work, of course. There's a Warmox actually being picked up on the side of Kez. So that's an interesting one.
And Prolly's just showing his proficiency on this character. Champion, fancy footwork.
Yep.
Using his clone to get out of the way of that damage and then rolling a lot back.
Hitting Porpoise Pops.
And super minions are now hitting the Nexus turret, so Callie's had to go back there.
The 1-2 punch onto Maple Street. Look at all this damage. The tidal wave coming down does hit onto Kez, but he ultimates away so that he isn't spotted out. Ice Blast is going to do next to nothing. Porpoise Pop sort of running back from the forwards, but he's confused. Cali Trolls, oh my, there's the Death Monkey. Little bit early on that Zonya's, and it's going to be probably picking up that kill. That was split second early.
Was that the Death Mark that killed him, or was it the Q that came out afterwards? Because it was very, very close either way. Just so much damage coming out of Prolly, and they're looking to pick up all 3 inhibitors, go on to win the next game. So
looks to be Complexity trying to do the same thing.
The dream
CLG did.
Alive.
The Unicorns of Love did. Oh my goodness. And Prolly has made this Zed look easy. There's a little bit of a hula hoop there in the middle lane. Slushy knows that this one's over. The last Nexus turret is going to go down. Porpoise Pops. There's the Empire, but he's going to fall down. Does clear away a lot of minions. Westrise flashing forward. Maple Street's going to die. Kez picks up that kill. Prolly now trying to do some work on this turret. Slushy's going, oh, not to die just yet. Not today, but he's, well, yesterday, right now, in fact. He's going to be probably picking up that kill. The Nexus goes down. Teleport used immediately. We're going to a game 5.
And look at Complexity's coach, Coombs, going nuts in the background. Getting the crowd hyped. They're excited.
One more game, says Coombs. He looks like he's about to kill someone. My goodness. But congratulations to Complexity. They are 1 game away from securing their place in the LCS once more, but teammates still 1 game away themselves, and we know they have it in them. But Prolly on this Zed was so impressive.
Yeah, so it's the team fight comp of Team 8 versus the split push of Complexity. Prolly on Zed was just able to get into a solo lane after having a successful laning phase and bully whoever they sent against him. They tried Maple Street, that didn't work. They tried Cali Trolls, that didn't work.
I don't know what they're going to be able to do. And as well, Westrise in that game was a rock for his team. And so far, these last couple of games, Westrise has played fantastically well.
Yeah, so the general rule is when Westrise goes even or wins his lane, they look very good throughout the mid game. Late game, that was all about Prolly. However, in the mid game, he was able to get in there. He nearly killed Cali Trolls off the back of a really good flash over a wall and just dumping all of his AoE burst. However, across the board, just another successful game out of Complexity. They look like they've figured out the split push against this challenger team.
That's exactly right. And Kez managing to pick up this Kha'Zix now for the first time, taking it off Porpoise Pops. Porpoise Pops actually opting to go the other way on this Nunu, who was pretty non-factor throughout this match. And we've had Nunu banned away in a lot of these games, and this time didn't have the impact that he really wanted to have.
Yeah, the idea with Nunu was objective control and be able to control your opponent's jungle. However, with the lane swap into a Katarina, was able to bully him around a lot early game, and Robert just got too big on Corki. So every single time they were looking for these objective fights, it wasn't that Porpoise wasn't being effective, it was just that he wasn't in a position to be able to do what Nunus need to do. He was, of course, giving that attack speed buff to Maple Street. They had just fallen too far behind by that point and weren't able to crawl their way in. But you're right, in the very early game, maybe a jungler like Elise, Lee Sin, might have been able to add more map pressure and affect the map with some ganks.
That's exactly right. But let's set it over to Dash and Zion.